Thanks for joining us. Today I'm speaking with Laurence Baynham, who is the CEO and Managing Director of Data3 Limited. Laurence, good to talk to you.
Great to see you again, Tom.
It must be particularly easy talking about your results this time around because there's so much good to reflect on as far as the last 12 months. What stands out for you?
FY19 has been a record year in many different ways. Profit was up 28%. Revenues were up to $1.4 billion. Dividends up 30%, so our shareholders are certainly very happy this year. But a number of other records as well. Share price doubled, so the market seemed to like what they were seeing as well. And probably we also secured a number of awards which validated some of our positioning and our strategic positioning. So some global awards from some of our vendors is always nice to have. And also independent employer of choice awards for our people as well. So all round it was a highly successful year.
There are a lot of boxes being ticked there, Laurence. We were reflecting a moment ago off camera that the growth that you're seeing in the technology space is extraordinary, and it's all about being able to execute and take advantage of that growth. How exactly did Data3 do that in the last 12 months?
Well, let me put into context, because there's certainly growth, and probably more growth than we've experienced. And I've been in the industry for a number of decades now. Yep. And this thing called digital transformation, I'm pretty sure that you've come across digital transformation in some of your interviews, and certainly amongst our customers, whether it's commercial or public sector, have digital transformation headlining their strategic agendas and their business objectives. And really, for once, technology is the highest priority for businesses today. And with technology being the higher priority, so spend is up. So in Australia, there's $94 billion that are spent in the IT sector in which we operate. That's up around 3.5% per annum, which is pretty reasonably significant. We've not seen those levels before. Some of the drivers, though, in terms of the digital transformation and probably what it means for us as a business, and probably putting it down into some context, it really means that, and some of the headline-grabbing things in terms of digital transformation would be artificial intelligence, robotics, and those things need a foundation of technology to actually deliver. So we enable digital transformation to actually take place. And what I mean by enable is the provision of cloud-based technologies for our organisations, networks, the enterprise software, and of course enterprise-wide security systems as well, to make sure that the systems and the foundation layers are actually scalable and robust to actually cope with the transformation projects that our customers are embarking upon. So that foundation layer is really important to us. It is our core business, and we will get involved in a range of the headline-grabbing artificial intelligence, and more than often we'll partner with a number of other specialist organisations around some of the probably the cooler things within our industry.
You've got about 55% of your revenue contracted at this point in time. Where does that sit on the spectrum of where you want to be ideally in the bigger picture?
Well, of course, as a public company, the more that we've got contracted, the more certainty and more sustainable we've got in terms of our earnings and our forecasting going forward. So that 55% we'd like to continue to push up. We see a trend of moving from CapEx spend to OpEx spend. So that we see will, over time, gradually push up. That 55% will push up, and the bigger the better as far as we're concerned.
Tell me about the economic operating environment, because we're moving into a different period at the moment in terms of the outlook for the Australian economy. There's a lot being spoken about in terms of things slowing down and the like. Is that reflected at all in the conversations that you're having with corporates and their ambitions for technology spend?
There's no doubt that there's plenty of things happening, not only locally but also globally as well. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing any potential impacts today. Our customers are very focused on the projects that they've got underway and that they're planning on as well, and we're helping them achieve that. I think the digital transformation agenda certainly isn't an overnight thing. I think it's with us to stay for quite some time.
That's a good point, actually. So. To what extent have you still got runway in the Australian picture when it comes to that transformation story?
Well, the transformation story and why it's different is technology innovation's been with us for many years. So every year and in fact every month we see new innovations taking place, which is one of the great things about our industry. And that will continue. But digital transformation is actually transforming businesses. And the business transformation is actually the thing that is driving that technology innovation. So for me, the transformation of business will have a much longer runway.
One of the most outstanding statistics for the full year was the payout ratio of 91% of underlying earnings. That's a big number.
It is.
Where does that sit in terms of what your ambitions are historically again?
It's been pretty consistent. We've been very consistent in terms of our strategy, in terms of the payout ratio for our shareholders, and we really don't see that changing unless there's something fundamentally that we can do better with the funds.
Yep.
But paying back to our shareholders is something important to us.
And it's something very valuable at this juncture when it comes to interest rates. So
absolutely.
It's always good to talk to you, Laurence. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining us for the Executive Series.